it like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well.
Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Yeah, send us some stats. I totally agree. Friends and enemies, welcome to another edition of the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. I'm Len the Legend, and Joey's off this week. He's spending some time at the cottage. So filling in for him is Boomer Boomdust. Or what other names do you go by, if any?
Tom Henke, Dwayne Ward.
Yeah.
Who are the Expos top relievers of all time? Wetland.
They had Wetland. Yeah, they had. Gosh, I can't remember who else.
Who was better? Like Wetland during the Dennis Martinez era. Who was?
They never. Tim Burke.
Yeah,
if you remember him. Yeah, nothing special. Whatever.
Ken Hill was the starter after that.
He was,
after Dennis Martinez, but I can't remember who are the closers.
Well, I appreciate you coming in once again for Joey, who has to take some time off to recuperate because he's been doing a lot of interviews lately, and we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And you know what? Let's just take the two things off my list. I got to get them done. 2 sponsors. Let's talk about them right away. I see that. You got somebody popping in. Is that your
I'm
dog?
on vacation. I'm on vacation here, so it's a different ambiance here.
We'll talk about that in a sec. Do you want to do the Easy DNS roll?
Easy DNS. They're the flagship sponsor, right? They've been around for how long now? Since the early days of the internet. You know, Tom.
2 years or so.
Oh, they've been around longer than 2 years.
Oh, for sponsoring us, they've been around since the late 90s.
Yeah. Like they're OGs in the space. All your web hosting needs. You like private servers, private emails, setting up like a domain name. They got stuff that'll help you do a website. Look, I signed up. I used the code in the description. Media? I used it. CBP Media got 50% off. I hosted a website for a year. I did it for a year, and if I can do it, then like literally anybody can do it. I did have to call in a couple of times to the line, like the email. And Tim over there at EasyDNS helped me out. So,
So you are a client. You use the service. You understand?
Yeah.
So you set up your own website. You did it from scratch. You created. You registered a domain name. Yeah. What's the domain name you registered to? Let's plug it.
Well, it's not active anymore because I just let it expire. Like I wasn't a great client. Once that 50% off expired, and I had to sign up for another year. It's like it got too rich for my bloodline. Sats were cheap at the time. Like I need to stack sats.
You know,
I literally wasn't getting any hits on the website, and I thought, like, well, maybe I'll do it. I'll try it another time.
You got to talk to the right people. You got to talk to the people that can send bots your way. The people that does the word of the week. Bots. The word of the week I see on Twitter or X is slop, AI slop, right? And so apparently, I won't go into it. I just, a lot of people are getting upset at this. A lot of people are being called out for doing something, whatever it is. You know what? That's
no slop here tonight. No slop.
We don't slop over here.
This is a slopless place over at the CBP on a Monday night.
No Henry Godwin over here. No, the other sponsor of the show is Bull Bitcoin, right? You're talking about cheap sats. I will say that sats are cheap all the freaking time. And I don't know what's 118.9 is showing my block clock. We hit like 121 today, I think, right? So
I think you've got even higher than that. We had a late night, one of those like patented Sunday night into Monday morning rallies.
And what the fuck happened? You know what? Whatever the fuck happened, Bull Bitcoin has you covered. You could buy, you could sell with them. You could do it on chain. You could use Lightning. My node is still down. I'm only a week behind right now in the syncing, so I can't check my node to see what are the fees, but I think they're still cheap. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just, I don't have anything to verify that right now. Bull Bitcoin, let's continually talk about them. aside from just buying and selling, you could do other things. You could pay your bills with them. So you can start paying your bills with your Bitcoin over there. That's rather cool. And also, if you have to send money to somebody, like an e-transfer or something, don't send cash. You could send your Bitcoin, which gets converted to cash. So a lot of different options you could do with Bull Bitcoin. Non-custodial, they've been around for a number of years. They have your best interest in mind, privacy, you name it. Check them out. Use our promo code below if you have not already signed up an account. They're available in Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Western Europe, probably some other countries too I'm missing. But either way, check them out if you haven't yet already done so. They are wonderful. And you know what? It's time to get Francis to come back on the show to talk a little bit more. Because in fact, there's one thing I missed about them. You could buy through the Bow River Credit Union in Alberta. It's directly from there you can buy Bitcoin. So it's just one of the recent things that Bull Bitcoin has offered. Anyways.
And their liquid wallet on mobile is slick.
Not a fan of the liquid because that's a side chain, another chain, and that's
I like it. And I think it's a great option with Bull to DCA into liquid. I mean, we don't really have to worry about it right now because fees are so cheap. But trust me,
you could do the same with Lightning.
Yeah, I like liquid. Liquid's kind of.
And then Lightning, you could use bolts if you want to then do a swap, and there's going to be a small fee associated with that. But whatever, lots of different options you have over there. I would suggest stick with Bitcoin only. That is the thing that I like, and there's reasons for that. I don't want to get into that right now. We'll talk about it more in depth. Let's talk about some boosts that came in, and we'll do some other things that I want to just get off my list. So Wartime sends 133 sats, a couple of beer mugs doing a cheers. So thank you, Wartime, for that. Farmer Eric, 200 sats, says, great information about Light and Diet. Is Jerry Seinfeld his brother on the carnivore diet? Talking about Safedine. Kind of does have that Jerry Seinfeld. An earlier, like not obviously Jerry's a little old now, but if you look at a Jerry Seinfeld from the 90s, kind of, there's a similarity. I had a laugh when I read that. Doug 525 sats. He says, great to see the return of the 40-yard dash question. Light, steak, and seasoned fruits, choosing that every day over a big dose of health-related fear and statins, I don't know, from the medical industry complex. And he does a salute from that.
Yes, statins are like heart medication if you have like high blood pressure.
Well, mine is still low. It's like 120 over 90, 120 over 80.
So well, maybe we can get you in a rant later on today and get you all worked up like you were last week, and maybe we can get that blood pressure up.
You know that the reality is, like, I get pissed, but I am pretty mellow for the rest of the day. So like I got pissed in the show, and I got pissed at a few other things, but for the most part, I wake up with a smile. I go to bed with a smile. That's the reality. Daniel B. I don't want to give his full name just in case he doesn't want to get doxed. He sends in 4,000 sats, and Daniel writes in, damn it, Jimmy. And Jimmy was the motherfucker last week. We railed on.
Yeah, poor Jimmy.
Fucking guy. And then Jer, 10,000 sats. Wow, it's quite a lot. So thank you very much, Jer, and everybody else. Said really enjoyed all 3 releases this week. I don't think we have any releases aside from the 2, and these 2 are going to come out a little bit later since Joey's at the cottage. He's going to do the cutting up of this, so the audio feed is going to come out a little bit later. And yeah, so it's going to be a 2-episode week for people that are counting at home. All right.
It's the dog days of summer, Len.
It's not just the dog days of summer. It's just the scheduling is like I'll go. Oh no, you know what? Hang on, just taking a look to see if we have anything booked. Nothing booked this week. Like I'll give you some insider baseball on my end. It's my mother-in-law. She fell, cracked her hip, 2 locations, 2 spots. This happened 2 weeks ago, and since then it's been a challenge. Luckily for her, she doesn't have to go for surgery. It's cracked into place that surgery is not required. In fact, she's now back home. She came back today, and she's already going up and down the stairs. Incredible. So yeah, so like you can see, like I'm burning the candle on both ends too. So it's been fun. But how are things with you, Boomer? I haven't gotten to talk about you and your personal life.
They're great. They're great. On vacation right now. See, I sucked it up. Like Joey at a cottage. Couldn't...
He has no signal.
Yeah,
he has minimal signal. No, if he dials in, like literally, it's going to be like using landline AOL. It's pathetic.
CBP, there's always high signal at CBP.
There is.
Regardless of your Wi-Fi connection, right?
Do you want to disclose where you are, or do you want to keep that? Are you in Canada?
I'm in Nova Scotia, like home of the wildfire bands.
All right, let's talk about that.
But I'm not in the woods. In case anybody's
better not be in the fucking woods. You get a fine of $25,000. We'll talk about that
in the woods
in a little bit. All right. Let's just dive right into the show, right? Because there's lots to talk about. And the story that you wanted to, I think, bring up, you thought it was a story of the week, was Roman Storm, the Tornado Cash developer. And this past week, he was convicted for the unlicensed money laundering business. Now, for people who aren't aware what Tornado Cash is, that's an ETH type product, but it's used for hiding your tracks. And so the government was saying that this is a money transmitting business, and they're also sending money, or at least conspiring to have money sent over, or ETH sent over, to North Korea, which is a violation of sanctions. And this guy could go to prison for up to 5 years, apparently, and allegedly laundering over $1 billion. And there's some of this links included to North Korean hackers. There was a few hacks in the past few years with ETH, and they converted it right away to Bitcoin, right? So
I don't give a flying fuck about ETH.
I don't either. It's just
anybody can clip that and post that anywhere they want. I don't care. I don't care about Ethereum one way or another. But this story, I think, does have a lot of carryover to the Bitcoin world, because this is very similar to the Samurai guys. And you guys talked about Samurai a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week? Maybe was it with me? I don't remember. But you guys have mentioned the Samurai guys.
It was last week with Joey. I remember that now.
Yeah. This is similar, where the Samurai guys pled guilty because they were worried about getting a pretty harsh sentence. And this guy, this ETH guy, the Tornado Cash, he was found guilty. And this sets a really nasty precedent, I think, because these software developers are not, I guess they're found guilty, so I guess they are laundering money, right? By letter of the law. But these guys are just software developers that make mixers, that make tools that allow people to use their cryptocurrency in a sovereign way. And here we're having the authorities coming down and laying the boots on these guys. And sentencing is not yet, so we don't know what he's going to get. I think sentencing is not scheduled until later in the fall. It's October, I believe. It might be September. Don't quote me on that. It's a little while. But this coming on the heels of the two Samurai devs who pled guilty to a similar charge. This is a nasty precedent, in my opinion, and it's something that all of us in the Bitcoin world should be paying very close attention to.
So when you use Tornado Cash, I'm just reading it now, exactly the process. You have to deposit your garbage tokens, the ETH, into an address. Now, who controls that address is the question. If the address is controlled by their Tornado Cash people, or the Tornado Cash the community, then really they're responsible, right? Then they are essentially a money transmitting business. If this is done by the individuals, like if, for example, if I wanted to do a mixing and I use the service, but I'm the one that's sending, the keys are kind of held with me, then the money transmission service is not done by somebody else. I'm the one doing it. So it really is who's the one that's holding the keys and who's the one that's handing out the ETH in the end. That's the question.
And he was found guilty. So we're not going to sit here and start to discuss, like, is he guilty or is he not guilty? He was found guilty in a court of law. So take that for what it's worth. But I'm concerned of the chilling effect that this has for developers in the space.
See, here we have John is saying that it's the monitoring, the unlicensed money transmission, the money laundering charges have been mistrialed. So the big question is, it's the unlicensed money transmission stuff. And until that gets settled, I guess it's really going to be a dagger that's going to be over the head of a lot of developers. Because let's be honest, let's go back to, say, Bitcoin, which we should talk about because that's, what we all like and love, I hope. Now, Bitcoin, there is no central entity, right? Like, if you want to fuck up Bitcoin, you can't go to the CEO of Bitcoin. You can't go to the president of Bitcoin and say, like, nobody exists. Like, it's a truly decentralized program or network, and it's really just node runners running fucking programs and miners just mining away. That's all it really is, right? So with respect to that, you can't say there's a money transmission going on here because there is none. There's no one entity that's holding it. But with respect to these mixing services, this could be problematic. And until this gets settled, I think we're going to just have this question mark what to do moving forward. But I think the reality is,
if you were a developer, are you more or less likely now to try new things and to come up with new ideas now?
It depends.
I think you're much less likely now.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? So I see where you're getting at, but if it's a centralized service where you're holding on to something like Wallet of Satoshi, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, is that a money transmitting? Yes. Right. They hold everything. So they could be in jeopardy in the future, potentially.
And that's why they pulled out of the United States. I believe they've returned. I believe they've returned. Maybe somebody in the chat can set me straight on that. But I believe they left for about a year. And then when Trump came back in, they waited a month or two, and then they decided to make their product available again in the U.S. It's just such a bad precedent. And this is not what I want in the space. Like, I want developers being free to develop. I want people to be able to use their ideas. And this guy, this ETH thing, I've never played around with ETH. I don't know how to use ETH. I don't know how ETH works. I don't care. But I don't like the idea that they're going around rounding up developers who are building sovereign tools, privacy tools, and putting them in jail over it. I don't like it. So while I might not be on his team, I definitely I'm concerned with the result of what's transpiring over here.
Oh, fuck them. They played with ETH. They deserve to get burned. Fuck them all. All right, let's move on. I talk about this really cool project that's being released by GoBrr. That's www.gobtrrr.me. And it's called a solar bit. I'm not sure if you've seen this or heard of this. A really cool thing. This is a little device that captures the sun through 230-watt solar panels, and you could use this to power stuff like bit axes, like Bitcoin mining, running a node, and they're doing that stuff like that. Something that requires very little power. 30-watt power panels are in this little device. And this little thing, it tracks the movement of the sun, so it's trying to maximize the amount of electricity you could generate through the day. And the if you want to figure out like exactly how much you could run off this, for context, a bit axe gamma that uses around 18 watts at a default setting. So yeah, I could see that as long as the sun is shining, it's potential that it could power the Bitcoin gamma to its full potential. And a Raspberry 5, I took a look, uses about 25 watts. So you could use one of these little devices to do a lot. Anyways, before people go running out there and buying one of these things, this is quote unquote free energy. The price is going to be a deterrent. The price for one of these solar bits is around 1 million sats. That's going to be like 1,200 USD, give or take. And even with that, these devices are sold out. There's been enough demand out there that people just wanted them, which is, I found it to be fantastic. But in the end, given how much power you could potentially generate, and say the hash rate of a BitAxe and the price of this, it's going to take about a gajillion years to basically earn your money back through Bitcoin mining. So it's still a very, very cool project, but really don't go out there thinking that you're going to make bank on this. It's not. The more than anything, this goes to show that you could do stuff like rudimentary mining and even running a node in remote locations that have absolutely no connectivity to the grid. In this case, they are showcasing running off a node off a Rock Pro 64. That is something similar to a Raspberry Pi. Very similar, very power It sips power, so it's really cool that they could do this. So it gives a possibilities for people out there to run your node just about everywhere. All you need is just a little bit of sun.
How was NHL 94 on Rock Pro 64?
It probably
does it run okay? Is Jeremy Roenick the best? Is Jeremy Roenick the best player in the Rock Pro 64 version?
People run it on
NHL 94?
Raspberry. Yeah, you can run it on Raspberry Pi 4. So Rock Pro 64 certainly it would run. Yeah, because you'd run a variant of Linux like a Raspbian or something like that, and then for sure it runs fine on there. So Roenick's still the man. It's always gonna be the man. Yeah, for sure.
This SolarBit stuff's really good. Go check out their Geyser fund. They have a pretty good Geyser page. It's been a little while since I looked at it, but it's good. It's good. And Len's right. It's expensive for what it does from a mining standpoint, but isn't this just an amazing way of decentralizing mining? We're getting to the point now where people are messing around with building solar-powered miniature Bitcoin miners and nodes.
The node is the one I'm very happy to see. And let's be honest. Let's be honest here. When you're talking about using the sun to do this, you're relying on the sun to shine in order to power that node. So if you're going to transmit or broadcast a transaction at nighttime, it ain't fucking happening. You gotta wait for the sun to rise again for your node to finish syncing, just like mine, and then you can fucking broadcast your transaction. But still, you have the ability to do that just about anywhere as long as you have enough sun.
You can't run. You can't run your node where the sun don't shine.
That's right. Or else you have to find something to store that energy, and then you're talking about batteries, and that's a whole bunch of other things.
It's great. It's a great way to just decentralize this thing, and it's not going to make you any money. Don't buy this thing thinking that you're going to hit a block, because you probably won't. But the more of these types of things that we have out there in the wild, the better.
Now you're traveling. You're out in the East Coast. Did you bring your node with you?
I forgot it. I totally was going to bring it. I swear to God, I totally was going. Not only my node, my miner. I was going to bring my BitAxe, my Canadian Bitcoiner podcast BitAxe. So I wanted to show my brother. I wanted to just kind of show it, and I completely forgot.
Oh my God!
It's still plugged in back home in Ottawa though, so it's still hashing on Solo Pool. So I checked to see if I hit a block, and no, I have not hit a block in the past 10 days that I've been on vacation.
And you probably, let's be honest, the likelihood of hitting one, If you do, though, remember your friends over here at the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. We would like to get a slice of the pie. No, I'm just kidding. It's all yours, buddy.
But all this technology is good. This is good. This is a sign that more and more people are building shit. And this is great. This is what we want.
So another sign that shit is being done is if you look at the number go up when it comes to Bitcoin mining. Right, with Bitcoin mining, we hit this past week. Well, let me just lay it out, because the price of Bitcoin has gone up quite a bit in the past year and change, right? And because of that, it's more economical to mine Bitcoin. And there was something floating around today showing the cost to mine one Bitcoin in a variety of countries, and it was showing Argentina was 16,000 USD to mine one Bitcoin, and Russia was very cheap. I don't know what's how truthful this is. Bob Burnett was actually commenting it doesn't seem like it's accurate, but nonetheless, it's still just the fact that the price of Bitcoin has gone up. It's more economical to mine Bitcoin. So more equipment is being plugged in, being energized, and it's hashing away. We hit this past week I'm hoping I pronounced this right, zettahash. I'll call it zettahash. And that's an enormous number. And also that the Bitcoin hash rate, the moving average, hit a new all-time high. It was 931 exahash per second. Number go up. This is a huge number. And it shows you that there's a lot of energy out there that people want to convert into potentially Bitcoin. Because you're not right?
Yeah.
So the energy's somewhere, stranded or not, where the fuck it may be. But people are choosing to use that energy for mining Bitcoin.
Super bullish for this to happen in the middle of the summer as well.
And
it's incredibly hot outside, at least in North America, in Texas, for example, where they have a lot of these arrangements where a lot of these big mining companies have arrangements with local energy providers to turn off when energy is scarce and there's demand for air conditioning. So to see that the global hash rate is booming now is especially bullish, because you kind of expect, going by the seasons, like you would expect that hash rate should kind of peak in the fall and in the spring, where there's not a lot of demand for heating and air conditioning all over the world. So to have it in August is extremely bullish.
Yeah, and you're a mining guy. You seem to be leaning to a lot toward it. Like, you look at this story, it's got to read it. Like, you were talking about Texas, and 100% right. I can't believe they're not doing the European style where they're saying just don't run air conditioners, just fucking sweat it out. But you're right. There's a lot of energy is being diverted towards the grid rather than Bitcoin mining. What happens when we hit October, November, December, when the temperature starts to cool down? The Bitcoin mining is just going to absolutely skyrocket.
Yeah.
Now, there comes a problem, I think, sometime in the future when the price of Bitcoin gets high enough. Like, what happens to these energy producers? They'll look at Bitcoin mining as it's better than just selling it to residential users or commercial users or industrial users. They just rather mine Bitcoin.
I don't know. The supply demand will work its way out, and we're seeing more and more demand for data centers in general, right? With the boom in AI. So I see more Bitcoin mining competing with AI data centers than for residential and commercial. But it's good.
And it's funny.
It's good. This will create more energy. Like, there'll be more energy abundance, right? Like, people will build out more energy. If there are consumers for that energy, they will build out more energy to meet that demand.
Yeah. And
the way that Bitcoin works, I mean, I guess it's possible depending on like how high price goes and how fast price goes, but how fast it goes to get to that price. But there's always be more demand on residential because it's globally competitive, right? So there'll always be somewhere on Earth where energy is cheaper than where it is needed on the residential side.
And you make a really good point. You hit on one point where you're mentioning out the building out of generating electricity. And if you look at countries that are doing well compared to those that are not, the ones that have the ability to generate power and a lot of power, there is a correlation between that and prosperity, right? Like, it's hard to have a prosperous country without having a lot of energy. It's very difficult to do so. If you
doesn't happen, there aren't any.
Right. But on the flip side, I could show you a number of different countries that are doing quite well that have a lot of energy and they are generating it. So, if this is going to help countries out there, developing nations, sort of kickstart their energy production, this I think is a good thing in the long run. It gives them the ability, right?
A buyer of first and last resort. An energy buyer of first and last resort. It's great. So overbuild and allow Bitcoin to suck up the energy at the beginning when there is no demand on the residential side or lower demand on the residential side. When the residential side can take it, send it to the residential side, send it to the commercial side. Then build more electricity, and then the Bitcoin miner will take that excess electricity until it's needed somewhere else. It's perfect.
All right. This is a fucked up story. This one I want to talk about from the BBC. And they talk about the police got a £500,000 windfall because of seized Bitcoin. To make a long story short, there was some scammer over in the UK, and he was eventually captured by the police. So the cops, through their investigation, they seized a bunch of stuff like Bitcoin from this scammer. And the Bitcoin that was stolen by the scammer eventually was returned back to the owner or owners, but it was done so at their original value. As a result, because the price of Bitcoin went up quite a bit over the past year or so, there was a surplus of 1 million pounds that was generated from this seizure. What did he do with it? 500,000 pounds went to the police force, while remaining 500,000 pounds was passed to the Home Office. Now, the question I have is, they gave the original value back to the people that had it stolen from them. What happened if the price of Bitcoin went down? Would they do the exact same? Would they
I highly doubt it.
So essentially you're going to get the short end regardless of where the price is going, right? If the price went down, they'll give you back your Bitcoin. Price goes up, they'll give you the value of the Bitcoin at the time it was fucking stolen. Like that.
This is an awful story. This is awful. This really makes me angry. Like this.
I'm with you.
What if they were cars? Are cars like vintage cars, like antique cars, and it goes up in value? And they don't give you back the car, but they give you back the value of the car that was stolen when it was stolen? That makes no sense to me.
100%. See, this is a story that I find extremely and utterly bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Like it totally. There's nothing about this you say, oh, they did the right fucking thing. No, they didn't. The only thing they did right was they captured a dude, and they say, okay, we're gonna give you back what you should get, but they didn't give back what they should have gotten, which is fucking too. So they kept it. They're keeping the 500,000 pounds from themselves, giving 500,000 pounds to the Home Office, and everybody's happy except for the people that were scammed in the first place. Now, there's people that were scammed. They shouldn't have been scammed originally, but still, let's be honest here. They fucking lost Bitcoin. Give them the Bitcoin that they fucking lost in the first place. Like it's total bullshit. And this shows you can't rely on anybody out there except yourself. The only person you could trust is yourself. It is up to you to make sure that your Bitcoin is secured properly. And if somebody comes knocking and saying, I need some Bitcoin because you have some bills to pay, you tell them the fuck right off. You give them fucking nothing. Those keys, they stay locked up and they never see the light of day, never go to the fucking internet. So shit like this is a story people should learn from. Total bullshit.
Do you think the people that got scammed here filed the police report and put in pounds how much they got scammed out of? So because they didn't put, like, you know what I know that it was Bitcoin that was stolen, but when they filed the police report,
yeah,
like do you put like I lost Bitcoin or I lost X amount of pounds? Because if you said like I lost X amount of pounds of Bitcoin, well maybe then the police officers are saying, well, okay, well you wrote you filed the report in pounds, so I'm going to pay you off in pounds. It's still bullshit. I don't like it. Like it's ridiculous. Like clearly those police officers in England, they need their money, right? Like they're real busy. They're really busy over there. Like they have a lot of work to do. Like there are a lot of like memes that need to be stripped from the internet, and there are a lot of people that share a lot of stuff on the internet that need to go to jail.
I look at this and I hope this isn't just a UK. Like I hope this is just a UK style story. Is if the same happens to say somebody more local to us or in the United States or wherever, and the police capture the dude and capture the Bitcoin, I hope the fucking God that they give the guy or gal or people that.
What happened in Mount Gox? Mount Gox.
Well, they were trying to give him back the Bitcoin that they lost. Some of it. They couldn't have given it back in totality because some of it was lost, right? So they're giving them this term is pennies on a dollar, but still it's the Bitcoin's going back to the people that
Quadriga as well.
I don't know how Quadriga if there was any settlement. I have no clue, but I know Mount Gox. The settlement was like, if you had 100 Bitcoin, I think you get like a portion of that back, just because they didn't have the total amount when it was right. So. In that case, I could say, okay, they're doing the right thing. They're not giving back dollars. They're giving back actual fucking Bitcoin or whatever else. The only thing I look at this story, like, what if they had a Melania fucking coin or Trump coin or whatever? Those coins, they went so down. So like, right? Like, what are they giving them back the coins rather than the value at the time it was stolen? Like, come on, fucking bullshit. Whatever.
It's horrible.
We're seeing it's penciled to be 1/7. So yeah, if you have 7 Bitcoin that you had lost on Mount Gox, you'll get about 1 back. That's according to Mark from EasyDNS.
And it kind of worked out for Mount Gox because Bitcoin has gone up more than 7 times since that.
Wow.
Right?
You're talking about
that's bullshit, right? From a dollar standpoint, a lot of people are going to get back more dollars than they had, but they're nowhere near on the value, right? If it's 100%, because Bitcoin has gone up way more than that, right?
Yeah. Okay, landfill dude. We heard of this guy, right? We're sticking in the UK here. This
guy's been on the show quite a bit. You guys have talked about this guy at least 3 times.
And the last time
he's coming out.
I think it was Joey.
Can't
get your vaccine. So the landfill guy, the last time we brought it up, I seem to recall Joey saying that we'll never hear about him again. But here we are, we're hearing about him again. For the reason being is, okay, for those living under a rock, this guy lost 8,000 Bitcoin when his hard drive was inadvertently tossed out and sent to a landfill in the UK. He tried very hard to get it, and it's fucking lost. It's gone. And even if he does find it, that thing is probably subjected to the elements, the hard drive, and it's fucking trash. There's probably no way to recover that. Either way, this guy, James Howells, he's turning the lost coins into the basis of a new DeFi project, aka a fucking scam project. And the guy is now officially a scammer. But it's not the first time he's been officially a scammer, because back at the 2025 the Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, which it's full of scammers, by the way, over there. But anyways, just this year at the Bitcoin conference, he was throwing out the idea of an ordinal-based token representing 21% of the wallet's value to fund a potential dig, with the token holders earning a cut if they successfully succeeded. But you know what? They never did it. This was left on a drawing room stage. This guy was trying to do ordinals. Fuck him. He's now moved on to DeFi shitcoinery, and he's calling this project the Buried Bitcoin, built on the Bitcoin network. More spam to be dealt with by node runners. And the tokens are not going to be backed by spendable Bitcoin. But the idea of the lost coins making the lost hard drive a symbolic vault. And he says, you have to multiply the very low chance of recovering the Bitcoin by the low chance the token would be recognized as a valid claim, and then by the high value of the Bitcoin. This guy's he's really stretching here. And he says that leaves some residual value, but that's not what it will trade on. It will trade on a narrative, he says. He said it's better viewed as a meme coin than a real investment. This guy is a fucking loser. Now he is doing ordinals, tried it earlier this year. It went nowhere. Now he's doing a DeFi shitcoin on Bitcoin, by the way, that is going to make it harder for node runners to deal with. I'm fucking experiencing it right now. The last fucking year and change of syncing up takes for fucking ever on a shitty computer. And he, like, this guy could just go fuck himself at this point. He could just officially fuck himself.
Earlier in the show, one of the boosters said that he was happy of the return of the 40-yard dash competition.
Yeah.
Like Joey brought it back. I've been campaigning to try to get a return of No Coiner and Bitcoiner of the Week. And this guy would win No Coiner of the Week for this week. This is like shit corner of the week. This guy kind of smelled like scammy from the beginning. There was something off about him from the very beginning. The story never really seemed to make sense. Like, is anybody 100% sure that this guy ever had any Bitcoin at all? I mean, was this all like some plan to get some popularity and to have, people like you guys, like a reputable Bitcoin podcast with hundreds of thousands of views like the CBP to talk about this guy 3 or 4 times? Then he gets his name out there. And then the next thing you know, he's launching a shitcoin token. It's not backed by anything, so he can rug you. It's pretty scammy. If you fall for this, you had it coming. And
the people that, you're right. If people are going to fucking go into this and buy into this meme coin, fuck you. Just fuck you. You deserve to have your Bitcoin lost. Fuck you. And
what I don't like, it perpetuates this type of behavior.
Yes, it does.
So
every time. Go on, sorry.
If this guy makes any bit of money out of this at all, stacks any type of Bitcoin out of this because somebody falls for it, then there's going to be another loser next week that's going to try the same fucking thing. And that's bad.
100%. You took the words right out of my mouth. You were damn fucking right on that. And it reminds me of that scammer I think is a scammer. The guy that claimed he lost his Bitcoin by downloading Sparrow Wallet, the fake Sparrow Wallet
Jimmy.
on the app. Yeah. Like, come on. And people were donating to him. I think he got 1.7 million, 1.8 million sats last time I checked his wallet. And I can't check my wallet or check his address because I don't have my node running. It's still almost there. I keep harping on that fucking computer. Anyways, I just want to bring up a point that was brought up earlier. John was saying that in the UK they have landfill accidents. Boning needs to do any licenses. That's funny shit. And yeah, Mark is saying that's a real hostile app, though, I think. Like, it is, but if you've been in fucking Bitcoin, which he claims, fucking Jimmy, I can't believe we're talking about him again, claimed to have been in Bitcoin since 2017, and he got rug pulled in a Celsius fiasco. Like, you've been around the block a few times, and you have enough Bitcoin.
How many people get rugged more than once? It seems like luckily I haven't been rugged. Like, knock on wood. Wood. Like I haven't fallen for any dumb shit. Maybe I will eventually. I hope not. Like I hope I never do. But I feel that if I fall for one of these things, I'm very unlikely to fall for another one. Like, right? Like you gotta. I'll be careful next time. And I don't know this guy Jimmy. I don't know. I never heard of him before last week. Yeah, like you guys said last week, he lost some money on Mt. Gox, lost some Bitcoin. Not Mt. Gox, on was it BlockFi? Celsius. And then again on this like fake Sparrow app on mobile. Maybe, I guess it's possible. I'm not gonna. I don't know. Maybe I. But be careful out there, guys. Just be careful.
Yeah, I think for you, the way I understand it, and I don't want to get into how you're dealing with your Bitcoin, but if I were to guess,
paper Bitcoin, only paper Bitcoin.
Not only paper Bitcoin.
I have a BlackRock ETF in my TFSA.
That's the only way to go, buddy.
That's all I have.
No, but you have your own node, and I assume you set up your keys offline, and you're not subjecting that to any bullshit where you're just going to get yield. Like you're staying away from. This is the right thing to do, right? I think that's the way you're doing that, and your paper Bitcoin is probably going to go tits up in a long enough time horizon, but you're doing it right. I think. I mean, if I use myself as an example, I try to learn as much as possible from other people's experiences. And especially other people's experiences, which are very expensive for them to learn. And I like to learn from their losses, which is too bad because for them, it sucks. But for me, it's knowledge. It's their experience I'm trying to include into my decision-making moving forward. And everybody out there should do the same. They should learn from other people's mistakes, where they lost their Bitcoin, their wealth, and try to do something that will prevent you from being subjected to the same type of loss. You don't want to be
There's no shame in making a mistake. There's no shame in making a mistake. And under certain circumstances, I suppose there isn't shame in getting scammed. Like I'm sure there are a lot of scams out there that are quite, difficult to notice, but there are a lot of them that are pretty obvious. So try your best. Always keep learning. Like you said, learn from other people's mistakes. And, if something kind of feels like a scam, do your homework first. Like always double check where you're sending your Bitcoin or what you're downloading to, or never put your seeds online. Like just be careful out there.
ABC saying y'all making Mondays better. Thanks. Love it. We are making Mondays good. Mondays typically suck, but since we're here, we make it better. And I'd say that my first Lightning node that I ran a few years back, when I shut her down in totality, like I just got rid of it, and I'm going to spin up another one shortly. I lost 60,000 sats in the end of that. That was not an expensive loss, but I lost. And that's what you want to do. If you're going to lose something, lose it in a way that it's not expensive. And then the reason why I lost it is when I closed all the channels, there was one channel that was just small. It was 60,000 sats. I can't believe it was open. That I didn't quite close properly. And when I didn't realize it didn't close, and I wanted to just, format everything. I did. And it's like, oh shit, I did it too soon. And at that point, the 60,000 sats were lost. So that's another thing. If you're going to learn, try to learn on the cheap if all possible. And the cheapest way to learn is from somebody else doing the fuck up.
It makes me think about like how I've lost. I guess, and again, this is just in theory, because of course I have all my Bitcoin in BlackRock ETF, right? So I don't actually, of course, but I'm just saying in theory.
You're a beacon of hope for a lot of us that want to.
Yeah. In theory, if I did, would have been like not consolidating my UTXOs.
Oh, it's terrible. You shouldn't do that.
Like, well, you're new, right? Like you're early. Like I remember like making a tiny, again in theory, small DCAs every week or every day sometimes, and then you don't realize that you have to consolidate all these UTXOs, and then it potentially cost me, a couple of 100,000 sats to do a consolidation, because I was worried that fees were going to go even higher during that whole ordinal BRC20 thing that happened last year. So I guess that was the worst thing that potentially happened, that could have happened to me.
The one thing that I could guarantee you is the fees are going to go up from now, and the fees will go down from now.
Yeah.
Like you got to find, if you wait long enough, fees will be down, but fees.
That's a horrible feeling though. That's a horrible feeling if you've got it. And again, like I feel for people that are relatively new, that are learning, and it's great. It's awesome. We all make mistakes. We're going to keep making mistakes, but you're self-sovereign. You've kind of got your head wrapped around the idea of like, yeah, I don't want to hold my Bitcoin on an exchange, so I'm sending it to my cold storage. If you're doing that, you're way ahead of most people. But you do have to consolidate those UTXOs because you don't want them to be too small. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's great. Like, go out and learn. Like, you're going to have to learn that at some point. It's not like a first day in Bitcoin type of lesson. It's more like a couple of months in Bitcoin lesson you got to learn. And what's great about it now is learning that lesson right now about UTXO consolidation is that fees are ridiculously low, like insanely low. I learned that lesson when fees were high. So I had to pay to the miners. Like, the miners made a good bit of coin off me because I hadn't learned my lesson. And it's a shitty feeling to have, 100 UTXOs and the fees are skyrocketing. And you're afraid that they're going to keep going up. So you want to merge them as soon as you possibly can.
You made the decision, the best decision based on the information available at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And hindsight, obviously,
I should have waited. Hindsight, right. I should have waited and done them last week when they were under 1 sat per VByte, right? Like, fees are going under 1 sat per VByte. I know that's like on the list of the things we want to talk about. So maybe this is like a good transition.
Well, I'll just talk
really
about
cheap.
It very quick. The fact that we're at this stage where sub 1 sat per VByte is available. Interesting, but I have nothing really to add upon that. It's an opportunity for people like you in the past, that if you want to consolidate your UTXOs, it's an excellent time to do so, especially if you want to take advantage of the sub 1 sat per VByte. It can make it fucking cheap for you out there. So
I don't know if I've ever asked you, Landon, and I apologize if I did before, but what's your opinion on optimal UTXO sizes?
You know what? I don't have a hard rule. I 1 million seems right. 10 million seems right. I don't know if there's what really is best. I just know that a number that's 6 digits doesn't seem palatable for me. That's really the only thing I can say. So I wish I could add to it. I wish I could get more clear.
That's exactly what my answer would be, from 1 million to 10 million sats. And if you're new to Bitcoin, you still haven't accumulated 1 million sats yet, that's your first goal. So we
were doing 100 million sats for consolidation. We're not doing that nowadays.
100 million sats, like one Bitcoin per UTXO, one full coin per UTXO. Why not, man? Why not? Like, we don't have. The average plebland doesn't have Easy DNS and Bull Bitcoin sponsorship money. Like, they don't have access to how much money you guys are making over here to have those high rolling one.
I hear you, man. When I look at my stack, when I look at the 2,500 100 sats that I have in my cold storage, I get so fucking happy to see that. It's when the number continually goes up. So, yeah, man.
But I agree. 1 million to 10 million sats per UTXO is that's exactly what I think. Everybody try to get 1 million.
Let's talk about one last story, and this could be big news for the number go up crowd, maybe. And I'm not talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I still don't know where the fuck that this is out there. Like it's lost in the sauce, and we're now more focused on Epstein and the Z-Man going around, and maybe fucking the Middle East. Anyways, SBR seems to be a lost cause at this moment, but who fucking knows? Trump, though, signed an executive order last week on Thursday, and he said the potential is out there now for Americans to invest in their 401k. This is like the RSP version in Canada, and they could put stuff like private equity, real estate, and Bitcoin into that. And I'm not sure how they could capture private equity into this. Like, it just seems odd, but anyways. But locking up Bitcoin for many years in a 401k, I mean, Bitcoin's already a scarce asset as it is. This could potentially make it more scarce. And they're saying this could open up the door for a bunch of new retirement funds out there that have control of a lot of money that it could flow into this. But did they already have the ability to buy Bitcoin ETFs? Right?
Yeah.
And again, with this, like, who holds the keys when it comes to this, storing your Bitcoin in 401ks? I don't know how this works. I mean, are you familiar with this? Like,
not fully, but this is not something that is completely new. I know that this recently passed, like Trump signed an executive order, but I think I've been hearing about this for a little while. Don't like on-ramp and what's on-chain capital? Not on-chain capital. What's the one from Austin? Casa is another one from Austin, Texas. The Unchained Capital. What are they called? Whatever. One of the early Bitcoin companies, the multi-sig. They provide some multi-sig, and they have this type of thing already, I thought. Now I read this and I'm like, well, this seems Unchained Capital. Yeah, there goes Mark in the chat. The real MVP. Yeah, Unchained Capital. They've been offering this type of product for a little while, so I don't know if this is something completely new. I don't think it's that big of a deal because, like what you just said, they could still buy the ETFs. So there are not that many people who are interested in Bitcoin to begin with. Like, where are we at in terms of penetration in North America? We're in the single digit percentage for sure.
Easily, I would say a fraction of that.
So of those, how many Bitcoiners actually believe in 401ks to begin with, right?
That's a good point.
There's not that many. And of the ones that do, they have MicroStrategy or Bitcoin miners or one of the ETFs. I mean, I guess it's good. Any time that there's more options, that more people are able to use Bitcoin in different ways, and Bitcoin is just kind of out there in the zeitgeist a little bit in a relatively positive way. It's a good story. It's good. I'm happy to hear it, but I highly doubt that this is going to have a whole lot of impact on anything at all.
I'm with you on that.
But why shouldn't this stuff, like even things like art, like why can't, like if you were to have a painting, like a painting that was worth a lot of money, like you should be allowed to put that, to protect that under your TFSA or RSP or 401k, right? Like it just kind of makes sense. Like, why are we restricted to only a certain set of investments?
I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my head around this. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to wrap around my head around a lot of fiat nonsense products. So this is another one, but maybe there's
probably a nothing burger.
Probably
a nothing burger.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of hoopla when this came out, but I don't think in the end it's really going to change anything. But all right. I think it's a good time to end it, at least the Bitcoin side of things. Jeez. A lot of stories we didn't even talk about, but there's so many more we have to talk about on the other side of the fence. If you're listening, just come back tomorrow. But if you're watching online, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be another same old show. So with that, last words, Boomer?
Don't be a shitcoiner.
I'm with him. Don't be a Jimmy.